Good morning and happy day 3 of peak week. So it's Monday and I do work a standard like 9 to 5 job, so it makes it a little bit more challenging the weekdays of peak week because it just means less time for workouts and more time at work and less time like just getting mentally ready and just kind of working and like packing meals and everything. So I do pack all my meals and bring them to work with me. It is another low carb day, so I'm making turkey sausages and egg whites for breakfast. And I'm still drinking a ton of water, so I still got my my little baby jug that I carry with me everywhere. And that is something too to touch on. A lot of competitors, from what I've heard and like the research I've done, have mis-peaked themselves or like missed their peak because they try to cut out water and sodium the week of the competition. So I've I've obviously done some more research on why people used to do that and why that's like not really done anymore. And Lane Norton has an awesome peak week video guide too that he does, but he explains it really well and talks about why we don't cut out water and sodium, because your body's actually adjusted to the amount of water. So if you've been drinking, like I have like a gallon of water a day for the last 6 weeks, and then all of a sudden you take that water out, your body's become adjusted to processing that gallon of water. So then it gets confused, and it can actually have the reverse effect where your body starts to hold on to water because it's not sure why you're not giving it as much as you originally do. And so then it can cause you to bloat, and we don't want that. Same kind of thing with sodium. If your body's adjusted to having a certain amount of sodium in your diet for like the last 4 weeks, and then all of a sudden you take it out, it can also cause you to retain water or react weirdly when you do have a little bit of sodium. And it can even make your muscles look flat on stage if you completely cut out the sodium. Same with water. So we keep the sodium in the water the same all week, and then the evening before the competition we taper down the water, only because you just think about it, like you don't want a stomach full of water when you go on stage. So you just start to kind of taper that the day before, and then the day of the competition you want just enough water to make your muscles look full but not have your stomach be full of water when you go on stage. And the same thing with sodium. Just the right amount of sodium can also make your muscles look nice and full on stage without you looking bloated or retaining excess water. So that's just what I did last time and what I'm doing again because Lane tells me what to do and I do it. And same thing goes for supplements. I don't change anything or add anything or cut anything out the week of, just because at this point not a whole lot's gonna change and I don't want to mess with what my body's gotten adjusted to. So that's the supplement thing. I'm gonna make breakfast and then head to work, and then we will check back in tonight. Happy day 3. So Joe is just looking at my Fat Secret app, and that is the app that I use, just called Fat Secret, because they, I think, have awesome tracking. So I do all my tracking for what I'm eating that day in the app, and they do these like reports that you can pull that are like show you everything you've eaten in the last week or the last month, and like what meals the majority of your calories are coming from or the majority of your macros. And it also, I didn't know this, shows you like what items the majority of your calories are coming from. And he goes, okay, see if you can guess which one item the majority of your calories are coming, like you're eating the most frequently. And I was like, I have no idea. Well, he was like, yep, your fluff butter. So that's great. But this new flavor that I got, the tiramisu, is also bomb. And so I don't hate it. Like, sorry if that's where my calories are coming from, then I must live a pretty great life. Hey everyone, so I just finished my workout. It's this day 3 of peak week. It's Monday, and today lifted chest and arms. Shoulders are really big in the bikini class, so I've been really focusing on making sure I'm hitting shoulders as much as I can, just to keep them, you know, nicely shaped and competitively shaped. So finished my workout and I'm eating my protein ice cream. I've made a point to make sure that I eat ice cream every day during my prep because I love ice cream, and I know that if I try to cut anything out, like anything out that I'm craving, I'll totally bounce back and binge. And last prep, I really binged. So I had this mentality of cutting everything out and just being super strict with myself. And then as soon as I was like allowed to have it again when the prep was over, I ate everything in the world like I was never gonna see food again. So I'm really just working to like try and not bounce back and not have that same reaction. And I wanted to make my prep something that was livable and maintainable, and something that I could stick to even after prep was over. And I know that's actually pretty contrary to a lot of competitors. A lot of competitors just do it really, really extreme, and then they can't maintain their stage leanness because they're so lean. And that's obviously the appropriate thing to do, because it wouldn't be healthy to try and maintain that leanness. So for me, I love competing because I love the being on stage. I was in theater growing up, so I just love the whole stage presence thing and getting all dolled up. So I love the competing aspect, but I will admit that I recognize that I'm not as extreme with my prep as I should be if I wanted to be competitive enough to, you know, compete with the best of the best, or to even place. Most likely I'm probably not extreme enough, and I recognize that, and I understand that that was the sacrifice that I was making by doing a less extreme prep and a more maintainable prep. But to me, that was kind of the trade-off, was that if I know that I'm making it more maintainable and more realistic, it is something that is going to set me up not just for the show to have fun, but also to be happy with the body that I have and be able to maintain it, for like the rest of the summer or the rest of the year, rest of my life, whatever. So I get that, and the struggle, if I'm being totally honest, the struggle with that is that you look at social media and you see all of these competitors that do take it very seriously and take it to the extreme, and I look at them and I'm like, wow, I'm not that lean. And especially by competing standards, I recognize that I'm not as lean as most of the girls that compete, and that's tough because you don't want to be the girl on stage that looks the softest or looks the less lean, and that's, social media is hard. It's hard to see that, and it's hard for me to not compare myself to the other girls. And I know I talk about how, everyone's journey is their own, and it's your own journey, and you can't compare yourself to others. And I say that so much because I think I'm just like trying to convince myself of that. Like, I need to not compare myself to others, and my journey is not theirs, and my end goals are not the same as theirs. And I love the competing experience, but I also need to recognize I'm maybe not being extreme enough to place, and that's just the trade-off. So when I compare myself to other girls, just kind of not letting it get to me. It's definitely, what you see in social media is just can be so negatively or positively impacting, but very impacting, one way or the other, depending on the types of people you follow. So I'm struggling with that today, just realizing that, yeah, it's great that I've set myself up to be just kind of naturally like slim and lean, but not necessarily as competitive. competitively lean as I would need to be, but at least I'm doing it to set myself up to have a healthier reverse diet and a healthier after prep and healthier kind of just rest of the year. I'm really excited to just continue to make healthy decisions and not bounce from one extreme to the other. And I think in addition to that, physique sports are sports of years. And you'll hear anyone say that. It takes years to build enough muscle to be really competitive in a physique sport. And that's just the way that it is, and which is awesome because it's a lot of hard work and people are able to be rewarded for their really hard work. So it's just something to know if you're considering competing, that if you've never lifted before, it might take you a few years, and that's okay. And even for me, having lifted heavy for just a handful of years, it still would take me a few more years to put on the amount of muscle that I would need to be seriously competitive, I guess. I guess the key takeaway from all of this is that if you wait until your body is perfect, if you wait until you feel like you're ready to compete, you'll probably never compete. So I would encourage you, I guess if anything, even if you don't think you're ready, even if you are scared or don't think that you're competitive, learn from that and push yourself. And if it's something that you would consider doing and something that you'd want to do, just educate yourself on the process and what goes into it. But I don't know that you'll ever feel like you're perfect or ever feel like you're ready. You kind of got to push yourself to take some leaps, just as a leap of faith every now and then, especially with this kind of stuff. I don't know that you ever feel like your body is perfect, but that's kind of the exciting thing, is that then you always have something to work towards. You always have something to improve. You always have something to push yourself in. Yeah, so that's my diary entry for the day. Alrighty, check back in tomorrow.